We've been talking a lot about our defense and how we have to rely on our defense every night. I would say, I just admit it, they did not have their legs for some reason, but we found a way to win this game. Sometimes it's going to be ugly. And what I was really proud of, and I told them this in the locker room, is we stayed positive through the adversity.
And you guys struggled from three tonight, but Kiah was 2 for 4. She's shooting the highest 3-point percentage of her career. Can you just talk about her work ethic in that area and how it's opened the floor up for you guys?
Yeah, definitely her work ethic. She been putting a lot of time in with Kasib Pal. That's who her positional coach is. So just shout out to Kasib. Again, they're building this type of relationship where it's like brother, sister. You could see that they're connected. You could see like sometimes they're just looking at each other. Facial expressions is sometimes enough in terms of communication. So it's really cool to see that. And obviously the trust that everyone has when Kia's spacing the floor. I mean, we're just throwing it out and she's ready to shoot. So again, credit to her teammates for finding her, because that's what she's probably going to do. She's going to give credit to her teammates. But it's Kia's hard work, just getting a ton of reps and then working just on, seeing it go through, holding her follow through. She's done an amazing job. She led us, right, in threes, her and Ja tied. So that's incredible. Yeah.
Great. Michael from Zoom, you're up.
Yeah, thank you. Coach, this is the lowest point total. Sorry, this is Michael Vopel from ESPN.com. This is the lowest point total a team's been held to this season, and you held them then to 16.5, which is also the lowest. Can you talk about having that kind of energy defensively, even when you guys maybe aren't playing as well as you want to offensively, your team is still able to lock in defensively?
Hey, Michael, I appreciate that question. That's just because, like you said, we've been talking a lot about our defense and how we have to rely on our defense every night. And so in the second half, we locked in on the game plan. We didn't do it so much in the first half because we were really talking about protecting the paint. We allowed 22 paint points in the first half, and then they took another step. They communicated. They were earlier in their shifts. They ball pressured, and so we kept them to 8 in the paint. And so I was just really proud of them to really lock in on the game plan because, again, we can control that. Not so much of our shooting sometimes, but I actually thought a lot of them were really good shots. But we definitely took a discipline approach in the third and fourth and talking about, getting 2 paint touches. And I thought Caitlin Chen and V and Tip, I thought they did an amazing job. Even Kai, the discipline to get back in there, just credit to them because that's a discipline step that we took forward.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Michelle, you're up.
Hi, it's Michelle Smith. I wanted to ask you about what is the value of the caliber of play that you get off the bench, and how does that, I refer to it as the second unit with the players, and people talk about that a lot. But what makes that group so effective for you all?
Yeah, they're all potential starters. They all know that, they could start. I mean, our first unit understands that too. So it's the humility that they lead with, knowing that they could, but also understanding their roles, buying into their roles, and playing them. Tonight, I thought they were the more connected unit, and you could feel that. You could hear it. They were speaking so loud, and we talked about taking another step with listening and receiving. So just credit to our second unit. They played too with a little bit more fire and passion. So again, even like I said, even with LA, she didn't score, but you could feel her presence in the paint. She was calling out all the screens. So just again, credit to our second unit. I was very proud of all of them.
Thank you.
Kenzo?
Hey, Natalie.
Hi.
What has impressed you most about this team during the 5-game winning streak?
I think for tonight, we found a way. I would say, I just admit it, they did not have their legs for some reason. So we're talking about, what else could we do in terms of recovery, again, finding a way. But we found a way to win this game. Sometimes it's going to be ugly. And what I was really proud of, and I told them this in the locker room, is we stayed positive through the adversity. So, yeah, some of those shots, too, were so clean. They were really good shots from the outside. But staying positive through tough, shooting. But also being disciplined to taking those 2 punches that we talked about in terms of getting to the paint. So discipline, I'd say, Kenzo. And then secondly, staying positive through the adversity.
Super quick follow-up.
Yep.
Game behind the Aces and I think a game behind the Lynx in the standings. How much of trying to get a top 2 seed over the course of the season is a goal for you guys?
Kenzo, I know you know my answer to this. For us, again, we're just one game at a time. It keeps our girls really locked in. Like we already talked about Toronto right after the game. When you do that and you focus on what you can control, then, we're going to let the standings be the standings. So I also don't like them to get distracted, and they do a really good job of communicating within. Us too, as the coaching staff, we do that as well. So we just take one game at a time. And so next game is, all focused on Toronto.
And then
Thank you, Natalie.
Thanks, Kenzo.
last one, Jane.
Hey, Jane.
Hi, Natalie. When you look at that box score in front of you, just what kind of stands out the most?
The turnovers that we created. We created 17 total turnovers for 14 points. Again, that's attention to detail in terms of our defense. Again, for some reason, we just didn't follow it in the first half. So really good for them to acknowledge it, hold each other accountable as the coaching staff. We hit them with a couple clips that really showed we weren't following it. So we got coachable players, and, I'm super grateful for that. So I'd say the turnovers for sure. And then for us, taking care of the ball, because Washington is a hell of a defensive team. They are scrappy. They have activity. They communicate. And they play so hard. So just great job in terms of only 5 turnovers for us tonight.